now another edition of Obvious News from Geico.
Obvious news!
A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve.
flipped on the ESPN Plus and you're watching golf, eh? Not so fast, my friend. Weather, lightning in Augusta. They're delayed. They did get a few guys on the golf course, played a hole, and now everybody's standing around waiting for the rain and the lightning to go away. But you will get Masters golf today. What you did get, and I hope you enjoyed it, was some action last night. Man, was that good. What's up, boys and girls? Happy Thursday. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. We are also on the ProView Networks. The Superchargers cape is back up and hung. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Mike is at Radio Ranch, Jay Pole, and Josh back at ProView Network Central. What's good, man? You good? You all right?
What did you, gentlemen? Good morning.
Yeah,
How's it going?
buddy. Word. Did you catch some action last night? Did you catch? All right. Like catching Central Michigan, the curse of the New Mexico Maitujas. They looked great, 40-10 last night. Did you catch the end of the Western Michigan Toledo game? Because it's as good as an end of a game as you will see all year.
How was there not a Holy Toledo used there at the end? Holy Toledo!
Because it's probably been used every time Toledo's ever been in a good game. Holy Toledo. So I'm going to walk you through it. And you're going, Jeff, I mean, enough with Western Michigan and Toledo. No. This was insane. So Toledo's up by 3, and they can kick a field goal and go up by 6. It's 4th down and long. They go for it. They get it. They score a touchdown with under a minute to go, and they're up by 10. It's ball game. Western Michigan gets the ball, bang, 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 down the field with no timeouts. And they throw a crossing pattern. A guy runs across the field and goes down about the 7. There's JJ what? No. They score on a quarterback sneak with 47 seconds to go. So they're going to get to within 7, but the guy or within 3. They're going to get to within their field goal. Kicker comes out and shanks the extra point. Oh no! Holy Toledo! So they're down 4, right? But it doesn't matter. They're not going to get the onside kick. And they come out with a kicker and a punter. What do you think of the onside kick, by the way? Because I thought it was terrific. Now, the guy from Toledo just botched it.
Fantastic. So what you want to do is put one guy in the awkward situation to attack. They did that, and the kicker recovered it.
So a little deception. So they've got both the kicker and the punter run at the ball. And one of them kicks it right up the middle. They both run up, and one of the Toledo guys kind of touches it at 9 yards. And the punter reaches out on the ground and, gathers the ball, just scoops it in before everybody gets there. I mean, it was just terrific, the way the punter it looked like the longest arm you've ever seen. All right, so they got 47 seconds and no timeouts, so they need a touchdown. Bang, bang, bang. They throw a crossing pattern. Guy goes down. There's about 16, 15, 14. Clock it. The quarterback goes to fake clock it, and the receiver, it's like me throwing to you in the backyard. Wide open on the left side, 9 yards, 6. Ball game. Western Michigan win. Action, man. I hope you saw it. Was that close to explaining it with no notes?
Yes, it was fantastic. There was a point even after Western Michigan recovered the onside kick, the win probability for Toledo was 99%.
Is that right?
It was still that high because there were no timeouts left for Western Michigan, but there's 44 seconds left on the clock when they got the ball back, and they had to score a touchdown because of that missed extra point.
Wednesday night action.
And by the way, Western Michigan 2-point favorites. They covered.
Is that right? So they needed that touchdown to cover. That's a bad beat, and that'll show up for you. The other one, boy, does Central look good, huh? Rob Akey's defense, Mac's offense, 40-10. They beat Northern Illinois. And then the other action game, Western Michigan. Ball State beat Eastern Michigan 38-31. All right, lots to do today. Jerry Palm's going to be with us. What are you eating, J. Pole? Why do every time I look up, all I see is J. Pole just eating, man. He's like, his face is right in the camera. What are you grabbing? It's all coming out the side of your face. Burger King. We asked college kids, would you get up early for Burger King? I didn't even know Burger King had breakfast. Yeah. What do you see on your screen, JJ? Do you see what I see? Do you just see J Pole's face in a Chargers thing?
Yeah, I see those two
Yeah.
dudes, you and me.
Yeah. All right. Because every time you
But that's not
he's on the big
necessarily what
screen.
the people see all the time.
No, I know that. I know that's what I see. So all I see is him just leaning into the camera and just a big chomp like that. J Pole's molars. All right, Masters today, JJ. They got out for I don't know a few guys like three groups got in a hole, and they're gonna have 500 people there. No roars. I went through. So I did two teams, and I struggled. Um, and you know how
You
much
know
I
how
like
much I like
Xander.
Xander.
So I got Xander on one team, but I found a way to get on a DraftKings to get John Rahm and Dustin Johnson and Matthew Wolff under the salary cap, and put a team together like that. I like Rahm. Obviously, I think everybody likes Rahm and DJ. I like Xander. It's going to be an interesting weather, right? It's going to be interesting to see what does Bryson with a wet golf course, is he able to just bomb it? There's not going to be a lot of roll. The greens are going to be soft. I think short game is going to be really, really big today, and who's going to be able just to get it there and stick it, and then make a few putts. You know who else I kind of like today, as a sleeper is I like Bubba. I think Bubba's going to play well this week.
Bubba Watson coming in hot. He's played well in the tournaments he's been in this year. The last two Masters, he's tied for 5th, tied for 12th, plus his 2 green jackets. He is very comfortable, accustomed to Augusta. This is one where, what group of favorites do you like? I don't recall a time there's been this many guys where you think can win. For me, in the lineup that I put together for this week's tournament, the 3 guys I focused on, it was Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, and Brooks Koepka.
Nice.
I'm big on Koepka because he got the knee cleaned up. He's been rehabbing it, and so it's not on his mind anymore. It's something that he's just back to himself. He is one of those dudes that shows up big time in major golf tournaments. So I'm hoping for a big weekend for him. And then it was a lot of the veterans. And you're talking about fantasy golf wise trying to fill out a team, and you're going big. You're not going to have a lot of salary left. So I went for been there, done that guys. Jimmy Walker, Zach Johnson, just trying to survive the first 2 days, get to the weekend.
All right. So then I was going to read you my other team first. So I did 2 entries. But you're going to like this lineup then. Just thinking the way you think and kind of going that way. So here's one of my lineups. I went with Xander, Brooks Koepka. So those are 2 of your 3. With Bubba, who've been there, done that. Louis Oosthuizen. I like Brent Wiesberger to be a little bit of a sleeper, and then Francesco Molinari, who was in the final group last week. So I went Schauffele, Koepka, Watson, Oosthuizen, Wiesberger, and Molinari, who was there last week. And then that was kind of my second lineup because I'm all over Xander, but I got talked into this. So here's the other one. And I think this is pretty strong. Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Matthew Wolff, with Cameron Champ, Jason Kokrak, and Sebastian Munoz.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am.
Well, that's good. Munoz is a guy that's getting some buzz coming in the week. The last guy that I put in my lineup was Jason Day.
It's a good one.
It feels even with the back. I know that's kind of can be hit or miss with him. There was that pack of guys that's been really good. And Bubba Watson was in that tier, Jason Day, and someone who hasn't been playing well, but has been sneaky good at the Masters in terms of competitiveness. We're talking top 15. Ricky Fowler, but he just didn't have any form yet this year.
Yeah, so on Day, and I thought about it, and I think Day's going to be really good on Thursday and Friday. I just don't trust his back, and it's so rare that you see him play a full 4 rounds simply because of his back, and knowing that there was going to be weather when it's cold and damp or cool and damp like it's going to be in Augusta. As a guy who has back issues, back and cold, damp weather doesn't always go really well, and that's why I stayed away from him. But yeah, it's going to go. I got an email in already this morning. We got, who is it that's on Rory? Ronnie gave me a note this morning. He said, Happy Masters Day. I'm taking Rory to win at -10. So he's on Rory. So there, like there's so many guys, right? I mean, you look up at the top, and none of us are on DeChambeau, right? I mean, the guy who's the favorite, none of us went with DeChambeau, who just won the last major, by the way. Nobody's got Rory, who is still a top 5 golfer in the world. There's no Tiger, there's no Phil on there. Patrick Cantlay's a guy who I almost went with. And I went with Koepka instead. So there's so many names up there, but yeah, that's what I put together, and so I want to sit around. I got so much to do today, but I want to have the Masters on in the background as I do so much to do today. Excited, and you're delayed. I it's kind of weird in the November feel, right? I mean, it's chilly. But I'm pumped to watch it. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get it all in with the rain delay this morning, and then getting dark so early.
We might have Monday golf, depending on what that weather is, because they're already doing 2 tee starts.
Yeah,
because they got about 2 hours less of daylight.
Yep.
Now as opposed to playing it in April.
Yep. All right, so we'll get there. And when it gets started, I promise you, I will keep you up to date on the Masters. But right now they're in a rain delay, and just a few guys have gone out and played a hole. 8:30 this morning, Jerry Palm's going to be with us. We'll talk college football with him. We've got to get through what's going on in the SEC. We'll get through Lobo football. They'll play a home game this week in Vegas against Nevada. Lobo basketball. The polls came out for the Mountain West Conference. We've got to go through that. NBA news with the draft now coming up, and all of a sudden there's all kinds of movement noise. You got Cy Young winners, the NFL tonight. Ton to do. Us and you. We're on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM and AM. 610, the sports animal.
Titus and Tate.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovic!
That replay, I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. They're looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Chavez dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible.
We're home for the National Football League. 95.9 FM at AM 610, the sports animal. We got a decent one tonight. Colts Titans, AFC South clash. Good defense by the with the Indianapolis Colts against a pretty good full team. I think the best team in that division. And a team that played in the AFC Championship game last year, the Tennessee Titans. It's preceded that at 5 o'clock by Lobo Talk with Robert Portnoy and Danny Gonzalez. So Lobo Talk at 5, and at 6 o'clock you will get the NFL. It's the opening drive on ProView Networks in 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, and Micah. Masters in a weather delay, so they're hoping to get going here within the hour, is what I'm understanding. So once they do, of course, we will get it to you. JJ, the Mountain West. Did you sit in on the Mountain West virtual media days yesterday? Did you catch any of that? You've been part of that?
Not yesterday's. I was going to tune in today when the Lobos go.
Okay.
Kind of work meeting.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, we got a work meeting. Is it to coincide completely with the Lobos run? So we're not in on that. All right. Well, very important work meeting today, Mike. Don't miss that.
Very important.
UNM picked 7th in the league. Men's basketball, Mountain West preseason polls, which, as you know, means so very, very much. San Diego State picked to repeat. Then Boise State, Utah State with Namus Keita still there. UNLV, Colorado State. Reno or Nevada, if you prefer, 6th. Then New Mexico, Fresno State, Wyoming, Air Force State, and San Jose State. I don't know what I expected. I to be honest with you, I don't think anybody knows anything about these teams. It's rosters of new guys, and it's not just at New Mexico. I mean, the givens are two things. One of them, San Diego State's been recruiting really, really well. They've got a few guys back. They were the best team on the West, in the Western United States. Well, that's not fair. Gonzaga. Them and Gonzaga were the two best teams in the West last year. They were on the line for 1 and absolutely a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament last year. And maybe, dare I say, JJ, the best team that the Mountain West Conference has seen since its existence last year?
Oof. That's a fascinating conversation.
Well, they had the best regular season. Is that
They
fair?
did. I don't know if they
Best
were the
regular.
team.
Okay, best regular season of any Mountain West
Best
team.
regular season, yes.
The highest that they would have gotten would have, and
And
this
that's
isn't one
a
of
fair
those.
point. I forgot that they did not play March Madness. I was like, what? Where did they go? We didn't even see March Madness this year.
We never even got the brackets. This is a team that was either going to be the last number 1 or the first number 2 seed, right? They lost to Utah State in the conference tournament, and they had a couple of good wins on there. But Malachi Flynn is gone. He's moved on. He'll be eligible for the draft next year. But that Matt Mitchell is back. They've recruited well. They got another big transfer, like they always do with a graduate transfer, and so that's a constant. And then Utah State's got Namus Keita back, which just that in its own right puts them in the top 3.
Yeah, and then they have, for Utah State, they have a really good front court rotation. They're going to need a point guard to step up. But Namus Keita, Justin Bean, Cameron Barstow's brother, Sean Barstow, is going to be a really good role player in this league. Brock Miller's still there shooting threes, so they're pretty good. As is Boise State. Derek Alston returns. His team was 20-12 last season. And Alston is a guy that flirted with the NBA draft, and he would have been a top 60 pick. And I think he would have snuck in to the second round. He returns. And then you mentioned, the Aztecs, and this year's transfer is Terrell Gomez. I'm coming over
From Northridge.
Yeah, Cal State Northridge.
Little guard, shooting guard. Yeah,
seen him twice. Terrell Gomez play the Lobos in that matchup. Dude that shoots 46% from 3. So that is always much needed for the Aztecs, injecting that shooting. And yeah, those 3 teams return plenty and are definitely the teams you lean on because they have most of what we've seen. And to your point, like teams like the Lobos, heck, even Nevada, because they got a bunch of guys eligible now after sitting out. We just don't know.
I think a lot of people on Gomez and the Aztec fans that I hear from, they're so underimpressed with Gomez, A, because of his size, and B, because he came from Cal State Northridge. And I'm like, dude, have you watched him though? Have you watched him play? And well, no, but how good can he be? Because he came from Cal State Northridge. Well, I mean, right? Well, yeah, because they're San Diego State and they're so damn good. And you get the arrogance of Aztec fan. You got it. And they're probably listening right now. But there is that, and it's a piece where. I don't know. Remember when UNM got a transfer from, I don't know, Samford, Samford? How was that guy? Was he pretty good? Tim Williams?
I would hope if you're a college basketball fan, you're beyond the point of transfer shaming because most of these dudes that are coming from quote-unquote smaller schools are taking that step because they're pretty good at basketball.
Because they can ball, right? I mean, yeah, I didn't see – when Elijah Brown or Anthony Mathis went to Oregon, and Oregon go, we're going to transfer from New Mexico. I mean, how good can he be? He kind of went up there and balled a little bit. Look, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You've had transfers come in here from Kansas that don't work, right? Mm-hmm. The answer is yes. You've had transfers come in here from Texas A&M that didn't work. How was last year's team that was full of transfers from big schools? How'd that work for you? I'm just asking. Now, at San Diego State, it worked pretty well. They had a transfer from Vanderbilt. They had a transfer from Washington State, right? And it worked well for them. But transfer shaming is an interesting thing. I don't know enough. Honestly, I haven't sat down and dug through it to say, who do I think is a sleeper? You'd have to call UNM a sleeper then if you think that they're going to make a run for the league championship, wouldn't you?
I think they're in that conversation with if you're going on potential. Nevada's one that they're in the same boat as UNM. A ton of transfers, so there's expectation, there's some excitement. We just haven't seen them on the court yet, so that's why you don't know how to judge these teams. You go 6 and 7, and then you keep your fingers crossed that the program hits. Just like last year with the Lobos, where the transfers were looking good until the off the court stuff happened and finished them off. But then, I think. So it's pretty clear for me, the top 3 San Diego State, Boise State, Utah State. And then
What's Boise State? So they got Alston back. What else? What else is there?
So Boise State has a couple transfers. One of them, Devonair Dutrieve from Arizona, who's going to be.
Oh well, he's from Arizona. He must be great.
They have 2 Arizona guys actually that are going to be eligible that are joining their rotation. But it starts, Derek Alston. The key to that, we're talking all-conference first-team player, no doubt about it. NBA talent coming back. So obviously, that's why I have them in the top 3. And then you have, I think, Colorado State as a team that's ready to take a step to be, 4th best team in this conference with the freshmen that they return. You saw Isaiah Stevens and Kendall Moore last year were really good. There's no more Nico Carvacho. The dude has finally graduated and moved on to his professional career. But the 2 freshmen they had last year, I think, were really good, and they were a 21 team.
I thought he signed a lifetime contract, Carvacho.
Yeah. There's some guys you just feel like are in the league forever when they actually stay around for 3 or 4 years.
Like Hugh Greenwood? I mean, that's how other people felt about Hugh Greenwood. He's there again. He's there again. Malwatch. I mean, can you believe he's a senior now? But yeah, there's guys like, and Alston's kind of becoming one of those guys. Matt Mitchell, San Diego State. It feels like he's been there a long, long time, doesn't it? Because it's perspective, right? Because these teams change over so often. Every year it's a brand new team, and you're just kind of going, why has that guy been there for 7 years? He got a lifetime contract? Like, what's the deal? All right, we'll talk more hoops. We got NBA to talk about. There's a lot of NFL news as well. Phone number is 505-246-0610. If you're looking for master scores, they're in a weather delay in Augusta. So once they get up and going, we'll get that for you. Jerry Palm at 8:30 on the opening drive on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Merrill with Merrill Guided Investing.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown. Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown. Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his
send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
They got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Going here,
Like
hopefully sometime soon. It's the opening drive on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah's producing on the radio side. J Pole and Captain Charger are producing back on the TV side. Look at his cape. Is he Captain Charger if he hangs his cape up, though? It's like taking away his superpowers. Supercharger.
Special powers showing up just a second too late after everything's already been decided.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I'm here to help. Oh, no.
Typical Chargers. Here I am to save the day. Oh, it's over? We lost again? And then give me a meme.
We're trying to find good parking.
Yeah. Because there's nobody in the stands. But it's still, it's L.A. There's still no parking. There's traffic.
Yeah, but you got to park further when you park away. You're quicker to get out of there.
Yeah, but you got like the Chargers. How about, I haven't seen any. There's got to be Anthony Lynn memes going around, doesn't there?
Yeah, but I mean, is it really his fault when you're down to your third string tight end and he drops the ball on a good defensive play?
Why'd you throw to him? I mean, if he's your third string tight end,
why is he in there to be thrown at? Because you get Henry over there to distract Keenan Allen.
All right, Keenan Allen was there. Keenan Allen was in. Mike Williams went out the play before. Is it his play? All right, so you don't want to blame him on that one? Fine. Does he take any
defensive play too? I'll give it on but the rest was just the other two. I mean, when you blow all those leads.
Does he get any blame? That's my point. All right, we're going to get into that. 505-246-0610. I want to get into Anthony Lynn, but let's get to Tommy first. Tommy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Tommy.
Hey, guys. Tommy the Truth back at you. I want to respond to what Lenny said last night about the Cowboys. I thought a lot of things I agreed with him with. Alden Smith coming back after 5 years to give him all the credit in the world. He's playing well, but they need – I don't know if they signed him to a 1 or 2 year deal, but they need to watch out because they lost Quinn from Miami when he had 11 sacks. That 1 year he signed like a $5 million deal, and they lost him this year. So be careful with that, or maybe somebody might want to trade for him. But I think they signed Smith to a 2 year deal. As far as the receivers are concerned, if I had a choice right now, I'd keep Gallup, and I would keep Lamb. I would try to get rid of Cooper. They don't need all those receivers, but then again, it's the contract.
It's a big contract.
Cooper.
Yeah.
I would love to see him. I said this a few weeks back. Some people disagreed with me about Ezekiel Elliott. If it's his hamstring, let him rest. Let's see what Patton can do. Patton kicks butt. That maybe someone will trade for him. And the dream sequence I want you to guys imagine is if Ezekiel Elliott would have held out. Patton, that was his rookie year. He comes in and goes crazy 6 or 7 games. Ezekiel Elliott, you can hold out all you want, but you need to kind of come back when they keep finding you because we got some guy here. Imagine if he would have held out and they would have said, no, sign Dak Prescott to a contract. Ezekiel Elliott holds out. Patton just goes crazy, and they said, you can come in if you want to, you're going to get fined. And then that would have forced more leverage with Ezekiel Elliott. Because I think Patton right now, quicker, He's faster, and he holds on to the football. I'd love to see if they could trade Ezekiel Elliott at the end of the season or during the season, but maybe it's his hamstring. I don't know. He's not breaking away from people, and I don't know if that would happen because of his contract. And as far as Mike Nolan is concerned, the defense has been playing good the last 2 games. Maybe it's coming around. If Dak was there, we'd probably win the last 2 games. Because now the defense seems to be coming around, but I still have.
Maybe.
I don't know if they have the athletes to run Mike Nolan's defense correctly anyway.
All right, there's a lot there. So when you said Pat, you meant Tony Pollard, right? That's who you meant?
Oh, excuse me. Tony Pollard. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, yeah.
No, that's good. All right, well, it's interesting. First of all, it would be sitting Zeke and getting him rest and getting him healthy because you're not moving him. It's interesting. JJ, I mean, you got thoughts on it?
Here's the thing, guys. The Cowboys are not trading Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. It's not the way it works in the NFL. Big-time contracts aren't traded, and you're not going to all of a sudden come out with a bunch of second and third-round picks. If you don't want those guys on your team, you have to cut them. And I don't see either of those players being cut next season. It's a team that, got some work to do, but if they stink the rest of the way, the conversation's not about Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. It's how serious do they think about drafting a quarterback if, say, they have a top 3 pick? How sold are they on someone like Justin Fields moving forward? And then you don't have this conversation about, how do we pay a quarterback? How do we invest over here? That's where the conversation gets interesting for the Cowboys. Not trading Amari Cooper or Zeke Elliott because it's not going to happen.
If they fall into the two or 3 spot, and let's say they get to 2 because then they get one of them, right? They absolutely get one of them. Who's the 2 pick right now? It's the Jets, and then who's is it Washington? Who's in the 2 spot right now? It's
Houston.
Houston doesn't have their pick. That's Miami's pick. Yeah, so they're not going to take a quarterback, right? So if you look at it now, somebody can jump up and take a quarterback. They can jump up and make a trade. And Tommy, thanks for the call. Tommy called at 2460610. Is it? It's got to be the Giants, and so the Giants aren't going to take a quarterback. The Giants are 2-7.
Jets, Jacksonville, Dallas, Giants, Washington.
Right. Jets and Jacksonville are taking quarterbacks. So if you I don't think you're if you fall into 2 or 1 or let's say you get to 2, and you can get a Justin Fields. Your point's right. Do you say, all right, well, Dak, love you, best of luck to you. We offered you a deal, you didn't take it, then you went and snapped your leg. We're going to go with this young man, and he's going to be way cheaper, and we can rebuild our team because we got salary. Now, your point's interesting. Now, I don't think they're going to get into that situation. Now, they could trade into that situation. But I don't know, Mike. I see you shaking your head. You're a Cowboy fan going, no, I don't want to start over again. I don't know, man. I'm watching these young quarterbacks come out in the first year. I'm watching Tua do well. I'm watching Justin Herbert do well. They're not winning. I'm watching Joe Burrow do well. They're not winning. But I can't sit here and say they're not winning because of the quarterback. It's because of what's around them.
See, my thinking is more of if you secure a top 2 pick, 1 or 2, let's say, you got 2 really good quarterbacks in those slots projected to go, I'd say you trade that pick, for assets, whatever that may be. Or if you drop back and you get, let's say pick 3 through 10, then you just pick next available, best position, defense, offensive line.
JJ, who are the studs defensively? Is there a difference maker? I mean, there always is, right? Do you go with
the conversation changes if somehow, some way, the Cowboys fall into a top 2 pick, because right now there's a clear Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields atop this draft class when it comes to quarterbacks, and it absolutely is a different conversation moving forward if you're Dallas in that situation. If you fall just out of that, I don't think you're going to be sold on a Trey Lance or Zach Wilson.
No.
At that point in time, ahead of re-signing Dak Prescott. So for my thought at the top of the draft, you're in that situation. Do you need a quarterback? No, you don't. So you go best offensive or pass rusher, offensive lineman or pass rusher. And that's where they start.
That's interesting. All right, Cowboy fan, your thought? 505-246-0610. I want to get into the Anthony Lynn thing when we come back because I heard a lot of conversation yesterday, and it kind of, I brought it up the other day, delicately, certainly, because it's delicate. But I want to get into his job security and the situation around the Chargers. Harsh winter weather's coming. You had some of it. You're getting more of it. It's not far off. It's not good for your vehicle. On the spot auto detailing is who you need to call. Have them come out and see you. that give your paint job the protection it needs. Application by hand. A wax to protect your clear coat from the hard water stains and the sun damage and the elements and all that winter's going to throw at you. So much better, so much more effective than that spray-on wax you get. It's like a spray-on tan that washes away. It's spray-on wax you get at those drive-through car washes. It washes away the first rain. And I did say a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing. The whole concept is tremendous, and then the service is even better than that. They come and see you wherever it is, whenever it is it's convenient for you. I was in the office. They were in the parking lot. They detailed my vehicle. What is detail? It's not just a wash and vacuum of the inside. Yeah, it's all that. And then they get in all the crevices and the cracks and clean it and pull everything out. And when they're done, boys, girls, it's like the day you took it off the lot. It smells great. It looks great. It feels great. Call On the Spot Auto Detailing. This, by the way, we're at holiday time. This is a great gift for that guy, for that gal who's got everything. What am I going to get? How about everybody would love this? Everybody would love this. 505-859-2859. That's their number. 505-859-2859. You can visit them at otsdetailing.com.
We have a special announcement from Dell Technologies. Black Friday is officially here. You can save up to 50% on powerful computers.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovis.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire in first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up. Man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out. A foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The end of Tom Rinaldi piece. I think Tom Rinaldi, by the way, does great work. I don't know. I think there's a few guys who tell stories so well. I think Tom Rinaldi is one of them on ESPN. But it was on the reaction of the other players to Tigers' win last week. Remember yesterday? Was it yesterday we were having the conversation about what it meant? And to me, all the guys who were there, the reception line as he came off of 18, and from Bubba to Xander to Koepka to all the generations of players who were there. Remember we had that conversation?
We did have that conversation. I learned watching Wednesday at the Masters yesterday. Did you know that the final few holes of his round, Zach Johnson was watching Tiger Woods? He and his caddy were streaming Woods on their phone.
Is that right?
Yes.
I did not know that. I think that's awesome. See, what does that tell you? Does that emphasize it more? It was just watching the whole thing, and there's Bubba in his green jacket, and then Brooks Koepka, and Koepka was talking about what it meant, and he said, few people know the perspective of how, when he was hurting, and you could see it in his face and see it in his eyes, and to come back. Look, guys win Masters, and everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story. When Brooks Koepka won, when Bubba won, when Sergio won, right? Like it was a big deal when Sergio, but none of them are Tiger Woods, and none of them have that story. That was it was different, man. Last year was different and special. That was one of those moments, and JJ, you'll get there here in a few years, where I grabbed Addy and I said, you need to watch this. This is generational. This is historical. You played the game a little. You need to watch Tiger, finish up on 18 and what this means. So the opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, J-Pole, Josh, Supercharger, but he's only just Charger because his superpower cape is hanging on the wall. All right, I want to get into Chargers. Anthony Lynn and the Chargers. And JJ, I asked you the other day, we had a conversation about how long Anthony Lynn can keep his job as the head coach. And Jason just brought it up. Chargers have lost 6 out of their last 7. And they lose an excruciating, and their one win was they squeaked by the Jaguars. They're losing in excruciating ways. They've got a young quarterback who is playing at a rookie of the year caliber level. They have good receivers. I get it, they're running backs out, but I mean they're not bad. They're not a 2-6 team. They shouldn't be losing to the Broncos. They shouldn't be losing games like that to the Panthers. All right, now granted they've had a tough schedule, and here come the Dolphins, by the way, who are beating people. And so I asked you, and I'm not calling for Anthony Lynn's head. I don't think Anthony Lynn should be fired, although it's a conversation. And I asked you the other day, do you think because of all the talk about minority hiring, the league the other day just incentivized, you get a compensatory third-round pick if somebody, a minority in your organization becomes a head coach, that the Chargers would be more reluctant to make a move on Anthony Lynn because he's an African-American coach, because there are so few African-American coaches. And Stephen A. Smith yesterday, I heard one of his rants, and he said that if this was a white coach, he'd be treated differently, and we wouldn't even be talking about it, and he'd be, everything, he'd get more leeway. And I was kind of thinking about it. I don't know if that's true. 2 coaches have been fired this year, right? Now, granted, they weren't 2-6; they were 0 and whatever, but they pulled the trigger at 0-5, and I think 0-5. Bill O'Brien of the Texans and Dan Quinn of the Falcons. Both of those were white coaches, correct?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if that comes into factor. I'd like to tell you I think it doesn't. I don't know that it does. Do you think it factors in? And do you think if he was a white coach, he'd get more leeway? The other 2 guys got gassed.
If he was a white coach, we would not even raise the question of should he get more of a chance. We just say he should be fired on Monday.
Like Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn, right?
Yeah, ultimately, this is one where I look at Anthony Lynn, and I'm with you with kind of how you started this conversation. Like, the results are what they are. You can't change that. But Anthony Lynn has the feeling to me of a coach that I think there's something more there.
I agree with you.
If it doesn't work out in the Chargers, if he is hired again, I'm not going to be like, why is this guy immediately getting another chance? Like, this isn't an Adam Gase situation. To me, it's one where there are definitely game clock management situations that fall back on the head coach that you have to look at and address, with some of these close games and what's happened in the second half, specifically, against the Denver Broncos. So when it comes down to it, you look at the record, how you go last year, the Phillip Rivers final season, they were 5-11, weren't very good, turned the corner. Now, do you question his loyalty to Tyrod Taylor? The fact that Justin Herbert,
but he's proven that he got off of that.
Well, he got off of that because the doctor punctured Tyrod's.
Yeah, but he could have put Tyrod back in as a starter when he was healthy, and he didn't.
True, but so there's that in there. Did he kind of back his way into figuring out how good Justin Herbert is? Either way, that's who they are now. But I think ultimately with Anthony Lynn, I don't think anything's going to prevent them from moving on. It's like, we don't want to fire a black coach at this point in time. But he is a guy that I'm with you. It doesn't feel as bad overall. Like, there's not organizational issues. You don't hear about the locker room. You don't hear about players questioning their coach. They've just not been able to finish games.
He feels just doctor issues. Yeah, they should fire the doctor. JJ, I think I agree with you. Here's the issue. This isn't just this year. It's not just the last 2 weeks. It's not just the last month. Look how they lost games last year. Like, this is an issue. And it hurts me to sit here and say you can somehow say this is Anthony Lynn doing that when you had Phillip Rivers out there not making plays or throwing balls away. But this is not just a few games now. And so, look, I haven't studied the Chargers enough to look at their locker room to know what they think. I agree with you. I think Anthony Lynn feels like a good coach to me. Feels like a leader. But I can tell you this, that team feels like they're too damn good to be 2-6. Last year they felt too good to be 5-11. And what do you hear about coaching in the NFL? What's the line all the time? It's a performance business. It's a win-loss business. What have you done right? I mean, that's what you hear all the time. And again, I'm not yelling that this guy should be fired because I don't know that I think he should. But I look at the situation, man, and that team, like of every team in the league this year, they've got to be at the top of the disappointing list, don't they? Atlanta's won 3 in a row, or 3 games since Raheem Morris took over.
Well, they're disappointing now.
We're at the halfway mark. Give me a team that's more disappointing than the Chargers.
Because of Justin Herbert's play, but what were we expecting out of the Chargers this season with Tyrod Taylor?
I think they were expecting to compete. I think they looked at that division and said, okay, after the Chiefs, we should be right there. Josh, real quick, we got 30 seconds to break. I mean, you're a Chargers fan.
I think they finally gave him some pull there. I mean, he got rid of an all-pro in Desmond King in that secondary who were blowing the game. So maybe they're finally giving him the power to rule that team like maybe Telesco has a little less control.
All right. More when we come back. We're not done with this on the opening drive on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing.
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Little delayed for you. Rain delay in Augusta. It'll be tough to get it all in, but once they start, we'll let you know. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah's producing on the radio side. Jay Pohl and Josh over on the television side. We were over there on ProView Networks. You can find us there. ProViewNetworks.com, our Facebook page, The OD in the AM, and of course, Comcast Channel 26. Tella sent me a note. So 2020, Jeff. It's so 2020. He says, I got up at 5 a.m., fired up the barbecue grill, downed a couple of brews, expecting to shortly hear On the tee from the USA, Tiger Woods. But my tailgate was abruptly interrupted. Sorry, Telus. They got lightning and rain in Augusta, Georgia. They'll get going. And once they do, of course, we'll get you up to speed. I want to finish the conversation we've been having. And if you're just joining us, we've been a bunch of places. We've been on Mountain West basketball. We've been on the Maction last night, which was bonkers terrific. JJ, we've been talking about the San Diego, and I will always call them San Diego Superchargers that play in Los Angeles. And Coach Anthony Lynn and the heat that he's under. And I think you and I, this is a weird one because at 2-6 for a team, a veteran coach that's been there a while with a quarterback playing at borderline all-pro level and certainly rookie of the year level, you would say, well, then why aren't they winning? The coach has to go. I think you and I both are on this thing with Anthony Lynn where we think he's good. And this is, to me, a situation players make plays, but we know where this always goes. And then we brought up well, I did. He's an African-American coach in a league that there's not many African-American coaches, that it's been a priority to make sure that there's minority hires. Are they more reluctant to make a move? And the two coaches that you watched get fired this year, Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn, were not minorities. And so I just want to wrap it up. I think you and I are kind of on the same boat. And Josh, if you have anything more, you're a Charger fan. Just
Edward and Lynn.
If this was your team, how would you feel? Right? I mean, if you're Sean, and like this isn't an Adam Gase Sean situation where he's got to call in every day and just go, I can't take it anymore. And Adam Gase is, what's he doing? Like, it's not one of those, right?
No, it's not one of those. I mean, injury bug again hits it. I mean, Joey Bosa's out with concussions
Every year.
The Chargers seem to hit it. It's the curse for leaving San Diego. It really is. What else can you explain it?
They deserve it.
They do. I mean, Spanos, just went for the money. But, you don't get rid of Anthony like that. I mean, he's a proven winner. It's just he's finally, like I said, I think he's finally getting the control that he needs on that team. He's getting rid of bad seeds. The secondary, I'm sorry, is what killing it when Derwin James is out. He got rid of Desmond King, his all-pro, traded him away finally. Maybe that was the guy who was, a bad seed that was killing it.
All right. So let me ask you this. If they're 5-11 again, is he your coach next year? Do you want him to be your coach next year?
Next year, if he's 5-11, no, then it turns
No,
into
this year. If they end up 5-11, they're 2-6 right now. If they go 5-11,
yeah.
Really?
I'd take him back at 5-11. Give him one more year.
All right.
I think he can do it. I think he's going to go a full year knowing that what he has in Herbert. Hopefully Eckler's back, or they know what they have in their backup. So we'll see.
JJ, you think he comes back at 5-11? Because if they go 5-11, I don't think he's back.
I don't think he's back. And this is stuff that the coaching staff has to clean up. If Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator, if they're not on the same page, they need to be. 'Cause Warren Sharp is a good football analysis. Follow him. Does a lot of stuff with NBC Sports. He ran it down. The Chargers, bad clock management, way too conservative in the second half. You're talking about instead of putting games away, they're averaging 2.8 yards per carry on first downs, putting themselves behind the sticks when they're leading games. So that's where you look at the coaching staff and go, all right, why are you guys on different pages in the second half with clock management, with trying to close out games? So that's where you look to having to improve. Yeah, the injuries, battle issues in the secondary, all true. But when you have the lead in games, what are you doing that's putting yourself behind? Clock management.
Gus Bradley at defense too. I mean, playing more prevent.
It's higher, man.
Allowing
it's higher.
Them to come back.
You're the head coach. It all falls on you. You're the head coach.
Maybe he gets to get rid of Gus Bradley, and that's the way it goes. I mean, he got rid of Wisenhunt last year. I don't know. One more year, I think, is what he has left.
All right. What if they lose to the Jets this week?
Oh, then fire him. Then I'm. if they blow a lead like that to the Jets, fire everybody, and I'm.
They're getting beat by the Jets this week. It's the next step in this Charger.
I will get a Jets tattoo on my pinky toe if the Jets beat them.
Put that down, J. Paul. On my pinky toe.
It's written in stone now.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, it's on the airwaves. If the Jets beat the Chargers,
I think the Jets are going to win.
That's a lower back tattoo type of law.
No.
That's a tramp stamp kind of a thing.
No, maybe I'll get it next.
No, look, give him the lower. I want to see how it's done on the pinky toe, actually. So let's go with the pinky toe. All right, well that's good. Now you're rooting hard for the Jets, aren't you? I mean, now you're rooting hard for the Jets. All right, Edward, put that on your 5-star pick. Edward, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline.
As Moses said in the movie that won the Academy Award in the 1950s, so let it be written, so let it be done. Boy, pinky toe tattoo, don't speak it into existence, my friend, because it's going to happen now.
I think it's going to happen too. I'm just telling you, this is the perfect next step in agonizing, heart-wrenching losses for the Chargers. After losing the way they did the last 2 weeks, what can get worse? Just any kind of a loss to the Jets. That's how it gets worse.
Unbelievable. You know, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Chargers because I shared the story when young Crusher, his sister lived in Phoenix, and my mom took me to the mall, and we didn't have a lot of means, and they sure as hell weren't going to have a Steve Grogan jersey at the mall, but they had a Kellen Winslow jersey. So I got a Kellen Winslow jersey for like $29, and I wore that thing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday growing up, but there's just no Patriot gear, 2,500 miles away from the homeland. But, the Chargers have the cleanest uniforms. They're so clean. Every week they come out with some kind of combination. I think Anthony Lynn deserves. I really like what he does. But when you lose consistently like this, there's a lack of organizational control, or there's an organizational dysfunction that is eminent in the with what's happening. It's not maybe entirely his fault, but he's a component of it. So if they continue to lose, I would make the change. That's what I would do. But, of course, they don't pay me to make those decisions.
They lose to the Jets. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it depends what their bye week is. A couple of key moments from yesterday's show, Jeff, that I really pay attention intently because I try to learn every day. One, when you kind of walk through the chronological timeline of Tiger's career, how he was brash early on and just completely dominated. And then he was humbled. And one of Crusher's postulates in life is either you have one of two choices. Either humble yourself or you will be humbled by life. And honestly, Tiger was humbled by life, and now he's very endearing. Kind of like A-Rod.
Yeah, very much.
From baseball. Yeah, absolutely. A-Rod was very polarizing, and people didn't like him, and now a lot of people like him. But I root for him. I think we all kind of root for Tiger nowadays.
Yep.
I think even Phil Mickelson roots for Tiger nowadays. So I found that fascinating.
Well, I think the two of them staying relevant are making each of them more money. You know what I mean? They're more of these. I mean, honestly, when I watch a match with Tiger and Phil and Peyton and Brady, and I'm thinking, all right, none of these are the best golfers in the world, but I can't stop staring at it. Tiger and Phil are still incredibly entertaining. They're still relevant. They're both in their 40s. Hell, Phil's actually 50 now, playing on the senior tour, and they're keeping each other relevant and making each other a bunch more money.
Jeff, if you lined up the top two fighters in whatever sport for pay-per-view, and you lined up those two, Mickelson and Tiger, on the same weekend, I would put even money that the golf situation would outdraw it. I really would.
Well, I'll bet this Tyson fight. Who's Tyson fighting, JJ? He's coming up. Who's right? There's a Tyson
Roy
fight.
Jones Jr.
Okay. You want to bet that out pay-per-views, whatever the top fight is this year? I mean, I'll bet you on that. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in firm agreement with you. Hey, briefly, yesterday there was a caller, Jeff, and I'm so proud of this show. He called in, and I can't remember his name, and he was very complimentary of the show. Was it Al?
Alan.
Yeah. Alan. He called in, and he said, look, I really enjoy the show. And he was very complimentary of you and JJ. And then he voiced his opinion and his displeasure in certain topics, quite eloquently, I must say. And he didn't go off and really rail into you guys, but he listened. And he spoke his mind. And then you counterpointed and said, well, I'm not in agreement with you. But he paused and listened. And you guys were on opposite ends of the spectrum. But it was a great conversation where people can voice their opinion and still listen to other people and still be in disagreement and not have to go a divisive way. And I thought it was a good watershed moment and growth for listeners and the show, and just one other demonstration how you guys eloquently navigate through these waters every day. And I thought it was fascinating. So, Alan, if you're listening, I commend you, my friend, because you spoke your mind and you stuck to your ground. And even though you all weren't in agreement, it was a good dialogue. It was a good transfer of information, and I certainly appreciated it. So, thank you guys for that.
Can I tell you something? Hold on, real quick. And JJ, I haven't told you the story. Edward, thank you for that. So JJ had another host in our family of radio stations call me yesterday. Heard that call. and said, "Why are you so cordial? Like I'd have blown that guy up, and I'd have told him to bleep off, and I'd have told him this and this and this." I'm like, man, that's not what we do. He had his opinion, and JJ, you know the call we're talking about, right? The guy who told us that we're undermining public health, and we don't know enough about this topic, and we shouldn't talk about all that stuff. And we had a conversation with him, right? But yeah, I had another host call me and said, "Heard that, and why are you so nice? And talk radio, you're supposed to be there." I'm like, don't. I mean, I've been doing this long enough. You're not going to tell me what I'm supposed to do. It's how we do it. So JJ, I hadn't told you that, but. I almost found that as a compliment when another host told me why you should have done it another way.
Jeff, I guarantee you Alan may be listening, and he'll probably return and call back in as opposed to be completely disenchanted and saying, screw those guys, right? So it welcomes different perspectives. Guys, briefly, tonight's a pick'em game in Vegas. I don't know how, but one of the 5-star picks for tomorrow, I'm going to take the home team on the short week with their big running back, and I think the Titans don't cover that. There is no spread. I think they win outright tonight.
They win.
So
with you 100%.
Thanks for letting me share my thoughts there, gentlemen. Have a great day.
See you, man. Later. Yeah, I like the Titans tonight, too. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? I don't know if you gave that any thought after that, because I did. But, yeah, should we have told them to bleep off? This is kind of not our style, I don't think.
No. I know exactly what the moment you're talking about. And to me, it wouldn't make sense in that situation, because ultimately we're talking about public health, and at the end of it, we all want to be safe. We all want to be healthy moving forward. So to me, in that context of the conversation we're having, wouldn't it make sense just to tell someone to to shut up when their main concern ultimately is the health and well-being of fellow human beings?
Yeah, I think that's right. I'm okay with the way we handled it. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. I see golfers on the range, which is good. So that may mean the weather is clearing in Augusta. I'll fire up the ESPN Plus and get you a little update here when we get back. 246-0610 if you want to get in. Stuck at home? You can take home with you with an RV loan from Kirtland Federal Credit Union. Get the adventure started today. The rates are amazing. The process is so easy. Travel trailers, pop-ups, fifth wheels, drivable RVs, and luxury motorhomes. Kirtland Federal Credit Union finances them all. Just click and apply online at kirtlandfcu.org/RV. That's kirtlandfcu.org/RV. Apply online for fast pre-approval, or tell the dealership, I want to finance with Kirtland Federal Credit Union, and drive away that day. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
To create space, he gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Coming in soon, double quick set for Avalos, goes to the right, Avalos puts it up high, window, scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis, all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Got into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Leon stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it. What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbaosi throws it down.
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Scoring week, but that's just because of the way the golf course is. It's a little softer. It's November. You know, it's going to play a little differently. And
Rory.
Yeah, I mean, I still think this golf course provides enough of a challenge to challenge the best players in the world.
Rory McIlroy talking about the Masters. Rory's the kind of one of those guys. There's a few guys that are lurking at the top, and there's not a lot of people saying, you know, Rory. There's a lot of Bryson DeChambeau talk. It's hard not to talk Tiger, Koepka. JG, another guy I like is your guy. I know you're a big Tony Finau guy. He's been playing well this year. You know, when does he break through? Ricky, I don't think this is he just hasn't been playing well. And Jordan Spieth, but Justin Thomas can win. Xander can win. Dustin Johnson can win. Obviously, DeChambeau could win. I just this is that special place, and this is one of those where guys who have played well. To your point earlier at the Masters, and they're in a weather delay. That's why I give Bubba a shot this week. How do you look at what Francesco Molinari did last year? He was robotic for 3 rounds. He was unbelievable until he wilted under the Tiger pressure a little bit. I even like Molinari to be on the first 2 pages of the leaderboard.
The talent at the top has never been better in golf. You know, it's something we've talked about for the last few years, and it's evident now because I think the truly elite tier is bigger than it ever has been.
No doubt.
You run down and you're trying to pick, all right, who do you think are the favorites? And even you get to 4 or 5 guys, you're like, oh, I want to add in Justin Thomas. Oh, I want Xander Schauffele. Oh, Brooks Koepka. Oh, John Rahm. Oh, Bryson DeChambeau. Like the top has never been better. And then you get down to the depth. And I'm right there with you on a Bubba Watson, who the last 2 years was tied for 5th, tied for 12th. He is comfortable in control at the Masters. And once they get it in, I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend. How does the course play now? You talked about the dampness, wetness, slowing it down. That might hurt someone that like Bryson that wants to try to dominate the course, or if he lands it in the fairway, it might actually help him. But it's a second shot course, right? That's what you hear about the Masters.
Yeah.
A second shot course.
So when it comes to Bryson, right, if he can, they talk about 13 and some of these holes where if he can cut the corner, to your point, if he cuts the corner and leaves himself 150 yards as opposed to 190 and he's in the fairway, he's going to be able to stick close to the pin. But what if he misses? Because getting out of this freshly wet, thick rough is going to be, now he's a beast. He's the strongest guy out there, it feels like. But if you ever tried to whack a ball that's sitting at the bottom of thick, wet rough and get it out of there and you're chopping broccoli, it's just not that fun. So we'll see. But they're in a weather delay. There's lightning. There's rain in Augusta. And as soon as they get going, they had like 4 groups go out and play a hole. Lucas Glover is even. Actually, none of your favorites probably got out unless you're a big Lucas Glover fan. But that's where they are. It was, I guess, if you're a Yoon Lee fan, he's 2 over after 1 hole. He double bogeyed that first hole. So Snedeker, Jimmy Walker, Sandy Lyle. So that they did hit the ceremonial first ball. All right, 505-246-06. I only because I love Lance. And if Lance, don't tell me one more time, why do you hate me? I mean, we've expressed love to you so many times. I love Lance. It's the day after Veterans Day. 2 days in a row on Lance, but let's do it. Hello, Lance. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I won't call tomorrow. I'll save you.
No, please.
But anyway, new mail, Edward. New mail. You need to go there because you got to think about the Lobo players, the college players that their life. Really, if you're playing at the college level, you want to play pro. You want to go big time. And the young guys that didn't even get to play, this year wanted a scholarship. I mean, they just can't go out forking it out their parents, So, yeah, and that caller yesterday I didn't agree with, obviously, But for the Lobo players, I feel really bad that you got to live your life on the road because of our governor. It's not fair. I mean, but they're doing it, and that's what I appreciate. And as far as Anthony Lynn goes, he blew with the Broncos. I mean, he won 6 games. It's like, and the same way each time at the end of the game.
Do you think Anthony Lynn is Vance Joseph?
I don't know how many games he won.
He might.
I don't know. Yeah. But it seems like it was 6. But just at the end of the game, it always seemed like he would blow it, just like Vangio's doing now sometimes. But
Coach, it's hard to win.
He's not a good coach, and it doesn't matter if he's white or black. You're a good coach or you're a bad coach.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, Lance, enjoy the day. 505-246-0610. I was thinking about the Lobo thing. And it's tough while they're in the bubble. I think global basketball and Aggie basketball's in for the same fate. But this is one of those experiences that they're going to remember their whole life. Remember that year we spent on the road and it bonded with my brothers, and this is going to be, book writing stuff.
You remember how many Jimmy John sandwiches we ate that year?
Right. Right, we were in Vegas, so we couldn't go anywhere, and I bet there's going to be great stories coming out of here. All right, Jerry Palm's got great stories. You read them every day. We're on CBSSports.com. He's going to be with us next. We'll talk about the weekend coming up in college football, the weekend past in college football, and all the issues that they're dealing with right now, because college football is dealing with a lot of COVID issues right now. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes it.
Ramos. Nice jump stop to the.
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a.
Hill, little step, high window. With a... Got the second.
To the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. 10. Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's the long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go.
Ford drive and kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalon's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalon wants to put it down. Here comes Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Rashawn in transition. It's 3-on-2. Rashawn going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass. And
Watson. Football at home. That's cute. Home game in Las Vegas in Sam Boyd Stadium against Nevada. I mean, how 2020 is that? Lobo football will be in Las Vegas, Nevada to play a home game against Nevada. 4:30 kickoff on Saturday. 3:30 the pregame starts with JJ over on News Radio KKOB. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit. It is Thursday, and it is time to catch up with your good friend, Jerry Palm, who you read regularly over on CBSSports.com. Hello, Jerry. How you living?
I'm doing all right. You know, does it really matter where New Mexico plays? I mean, they're going to have just as many of their fans there regardless, right?
That's right, 0.
Yep.
And you know, they're talking about maybe next week allowing some fans in because UNLV is, I think, allowing 2,000 into their home games over at the new stadium.
Is that who they play next?
What's that?
Is that who New Mexico plays next?
No, but it would be the same, right? They're in the same city, so it'd be the same jurisdiction, the same policies, technically. It's so 2020, man. I don't even know. You know, when you sit back and look at it, you've been dealing. What's the count on COVID losses, games lost this weekend?
As of about an hour ago, 8. Although it is widely expected the Cal-Arizona State game will get canceled. And we haven't heard anything from Conference USA yet, which is unusual because they have had at least one postponement for 9 straight weeks.
Well, and a lot of it's UTEP. UTEP's going to play in Midland. They're playing the UTEP UAB game is going to be at a high school in Midland, Texas.
Yeah, because I know that, and I think that's like UTEP's game last week got canceled, but I was under the impression that was more of a city thing than a school thing.
Right, and that's why they moved. I mean, they had 10,000 cases.
And they're on the road this week. UTEP is, I'm pretty
sure.
Well,
they're playing their home game in Midland against UAB.
I thought that was next week.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. All right, bottom line, long picture. I know now that the SEC is getting hit, now people care, right? It's one thing when you lose a UTEP game or you lose a whatever. Now that the SEC is getting hit, still no chance CFP moves back a little bit and lets a little runway on the back end?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, you're talking about getting the Rose in particular and Sugar to move off of New Year's Day. And then once you move off of New Year's Day, you start competing with the NFL on the weekend. And I think that they're going to, that's a very last resort. And it's going to take more than a bad week or two to cause that to move, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're losing LSU, Alabama, and some which would typically be marquee, but it is what it is. Jerry Palm's with us from CBSSports.com.
Jerry, BYU is a very good football team, but Boise State was down to their third-string quarterback. San Diego State lost to San Jose State last Friday night. What does the future look for BYU?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to be hard-pressed to get into a New Year's Six game just because of their schedule. The Boise State, maybe even with their third quarterback, is probably the best team they're going to play. It's either that or Houston. a middle-of-the-pack American Conference team. And, and I guess, they beat them as bad as they can beat them, but, what are you going to do? They're going to be behind every undefeated and one-loss major conference team. They'll probably be behind Cincinnati if they're undefeated, and maybe even if Cincinnati has a loss, depending on who they lose to. And they might be behind some two-loss major conference teams, especially out of the SEC. So I just don't see a path for them, certainly not to a playoff, and I think they're a long shot for the New Year's Six.
Jerry, what were your takeaways from Notre Dame Clemson? And ultimately, with Clemson getting Trevor Lawrence back, everyone assumes it would be differently the second time around. Are both those teams feeling good about their playoff chances?
Yeah, and it's funny because they didn't really lose because of the quarterback. I mean, he left a few plays out there that maybe Trevor would have made, but it's really, I think that they were more hurt by the fact that I think they were without almost all of their starting linebackers. That, to me, was a bigger problem for them. But I think a healthy Clemson is at least a touchdown better than a healthy Notre Dame. And if that's what we get at the end of the season, then I like Clemson.
Jerry Palm's with us from CBSSports.com. It's a crazy year in every respect, and I'm looking and I'm seeing Liberty at 7-0. I'm seeing what Marshall's doing. I'm kind of digging what Marshall's doing, to be honest with you. I'm watching some of the teams that we've had out here in our game. Marshall, Central Michigan, watching have some really good success. Marshall's, I think, pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they're not getting the play that some of these other teams are getting. I mean, Liberty got their first decent win of the season this past week against Virginia Tech. Marshall beat App State early on, which is an underrated win. It's still their only loss. I think App State's only loss. I believe it's still Marshall. I think Marshall's a pretty good team. It's funny though. I mean, we've got like undefeated Cincinnati, undefeated BYU. If they were to play each other, if we hadn't had all these cancellations, they were originally scheduled to play each other this year. So we missed out on that game. But Marshall, Coastal Carolina, a lot of these teams didn't get to play. We don't have the typical non-conference yet that would have taken down some of these undefeated teams because they didn't play the games that they would normally have played. But it's still great for them. I mean, Coastal is in the highest cotton they've ever been. Liberty, right. Great. I think it's fun for college football to have all of these teams to talk about.
Yeah, I wish they would get to play someone. And to your point, watching Liberty beat Virginia Tech was a little bit of validation. All right, Pac-12 got started.
They didn't even have a bowl agreement.
Right.
They got into a bowl game. They're a backup for like 4 or 5 bowls. But with everybody bowl eligible this year,
it's going to be tough. Yeah.
So I think that new Magnolia Bowl that they just threw in at the last second that doesn't have anything to it yet.
In Montgomery. Yeah, it does. All right. Pac-12 started. The SC win over Arizona State was I'm not sure which was better. Last night watching Western Michigan somehow come back and beat Toledo. Awesome. That was awesome. But the SC win was big. An onside, a late touchdown, an onside kick, and another one. I don't know what that does. I thought Arizona State was a better team. Just eye test watching it, but SC gets the win, and so SC is the better team.
Yeah, well, they certainly, in the end that day, and they were thought to be the better team going in. They, I guess, hold serve in a sense. But, yeah, I got Arizona State's got to be singing because they had that one and just gave it away there at the end. Well, USC took it, but, you hate giving up an onside kick, right, because it's such a low percentage play. But it's and then, of course, you give up the touchdown after that. It's bad for Arizona State, and then they may not even get to play this week because they're supposed to play, I think, at Cal, and that game is not looking good. So, tough for Arizona State, but I think good for the league that USC won. I think, an Oregon-USC conference championship game, which is, ideally for the league, 2 undefeated teams there and 2 recognizable undefeated teams. In a year like this, I think that matters. I think that's good for the league that USC is still in play for that.
Jerry, can we just move everyone other than Ohio State to the West in the Big Ten and just have all those teams play to see who goes the conference championship game? Because I like Indiana. Northwestern's undefeated. Your Purdue Boilermakers are still undefeated. Maybe Wisconsin gets to play again. And then what is Maryland doing? Like, what's up in the Big Ten?
Yeah, Maryland loses by 40 to Northwestern to start the season, and then all of a sudden they get their offense going. And now they won't get to play Ohio State, which is, too bad for them because that's, the ultimate test in this league. Indiana 3-0, Northwestern 3-0, Purdue 2-0 because their Wisconsin game got canceled. Those three teams have never been undefeated together this deep into conference play ever. So the Big Ten East in particular is up. It's Ohio State, and everything else is upside down. Indiana's got more wins than Michigan State, and Penn State combined. IU at Michigan State this week as a 7-point favorite, and they'll probably win by more than that. Michigan State's a mess, but it's a weird year. And Purdue Northwestern this week at Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette. So one of them will get their first loss, and we'll have to see if Purdue gets back Rondell Moore. I don't know what to expect there. But weird year in the Big Ten. You could see like a Purdue Northwestern winner versus Ohio State in the conference championship game, even if Wisconsin goes undefeated, because it could end up going to a tiebreaker.
What's the best game of the weekend? Left on the schedule, not canceled by COVID.
Left?
Yeah.
Who's USC playing? Arizona, right? So no.
USC's Arizona. I just crossed that. Yeah.
In the Big Ten, it's the biggest game in the Big Ten. Wisconsin, Michigan has bigger names, but Michigan stinks right now. I guess what's going on in the Big 12? I mean, what are the big games this week? Clemson's off.
Notre Dame plays Boston College. I mean, it's interesting to watch to see how they'll bounce back. But
Northwestern is two undefeated teams. Now they're not ranked. Who's Florida got? Florida's got Arkansas. That's an interesting game. Because Arkansas has been playing better than anybody expected, but they'll be without their coach.
There's only two Big 12 games.
So that's a sneaky good game.
Yeah, there's only two Big 12 games: TCU, West Virginia, and Baylor, Texas Tech. That's it. So, hey, what do you think of last night?
Purdue Northwestern. I'm going with that.
All right. Will it be better than what I watched last night of the MACtion, Western Michigan coming back? That was insane.
No, maybe, but probably not.
Yeah,
that was cool. Game because Northwestern's defense is really good, so we'll keep the score down, and it should be a close game.
All right. Enjoy the weekend. Read them every day over on CBSSports.com. Appreciate you spending some time with us, Jerry. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Thanks. You too.
See you. Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com. Yes.
Did you see how Liberty beat Virginia Tech?
There was a penalty. Did they miss a field goal, but there was a timeout? Fuente called the timeout?
Yes. So Liberty was lining up to kick the field goal as time was set to expire in a tie game. Virginia Tech blocks it, returns it for a touchdown. However, their head coach had called a timeout.
Yeah.
And then so Liberty lines up, runs one more play in this instance, gets out of bounds, gets closer for the field goal, kicks the game winner.
Yeah, yeah. And this is your own coach calls the timeout. So you blocking a field goal, which going the other way, a block 6 goes the other way.
Percentages are so small.
I just don't know why they do it.
Kicker.
Yeah, yeah. Let them go with the first. Go with your first instinct. Let them go. And that's exactly what. And then you see, Hugh Freeze just got paid. They paid him through 2026 at Liberty. Liberty's 7-0, dude. Remember when they're on the Lobo schedule and they're like, "Why are we playing these clowns?"
Yeah,
we're better than that.
Hugh Freeze is still a clown, but he's a winning clown at this point in time. And he said this week, he's like, it's going to take a special offer. It's going to take any Power 5 program saying you want to be our head coach, and you're going to.
Here's a couple million. That's right. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do.
Out with it. Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos was handling.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open. Getting
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Far the ball again. Another steal by Davino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Devils is all over the place. Heck about the lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. Twine!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Agbaiosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack. Davino Lovato up high, down hard for Agbaiosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wraparound pass.
On the tee from the USA, Tiger Woods into the pine straw on the first hole. We're underway, JJ. We are underway. They got the weather figured out. The skies look beautiful. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll give you a leader and everything as we go. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, the ProView Network staff is working today. That's J. Paul and Super Josh. And Mike is producing back at Radio Ranch. Ralph sent me a text from San Diego and asked, is Jerry Palm on a flip phone? It was extremely bad today.
Always have our moments with Jerry.
Yeah, it was extremely not good today. All right, lots of guys at the Pine Straw. We are underway at the Masters. Groups going out right now. And Jazz Janawatanan is your leader. He's -1. Everybody else is even or over. Tiger's getting ready to go. Louis Oosthuizen's teed off. He's on 11, so there we go. And we're up and going. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. 888-922-0610. Your emails, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Hello, Jess. How you living?
Ooh, yeah, Jefe.
Ooh, yeah.
A tradition unlike any other.
Hello,
I kind of dig this fall/winter Masters. I kind of like it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a little
I
chilly
do too.
outside. You're going to want to stay inside. Since it's already cold, you know, you've already got your golf watching attire on, which is usually sweatshirt, sweatpants. I usually go commando in the sweatpants. Makes it feel more like I'm watching golf. I don't know if anybody else does.
Why?
That.
Just because you have better access or what?
Well, you know, there's these new sweatpants, Jeff. I don't know if it's the cotton that they're doing nowadays. It's just so soft. And, you know, I'm not a silk underwear guy, so, you know, sometimes it's better to have that cotton contact.
Gonna have to
So
try
nice
it.
sweatpants today.
Yep.
You know, this is the amazing thing about Tiger. And you think that I saw this stat a couple months ago. I'm sure the numbers have changed a little bit. But the most wins since 2008, Dustin Johnson with 23. Number 2, Tiger Woods with 21. I mean, that's shocking to think in the last 12 years he still has the second most wins of anybody.
And he's basically
on the
been
tour.
out for 7 of
And
them. For
then-
7 of them, he's been out. Right?
I mean, that's just amazing to think about. People don't think how often he's won. Golf is a hard game. You can't win every week. But when you see some of the stats the guy's put up in his career, even during that 7-year stretch where he hardly played at all, it's amazing that he's still the second most winning person on the tour. It's unbelievable. He's gotten to his age where I think that these little 2 weeks ago, I can't where they were at the Hero Championship. He played pretty dreadful. I mean, him and Phil were what, last place?
Last. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dead last. But these are, you know, those are the type of guys that I think they have that drive and that determination, and they can turn it on and off. And certain courses can turn things on and off. And you know, one bad day at the Masters can ruin you, especially Thursday and Friday. If you're not up there, there's a bad chance that you're not coming back. And Tiger's never really been known for being a guy that climbs the leaderboard on Saturday. I mean, especially on Sunday. I think what was it, last year was the first time he'd ever won the Masters without leading the whole
that's right.
tournament.
I think that's right.
So it doesn't happen very often. So I'm hoping that he gets out to a good start. Last year was a very, you know, emotional win for me. I know it was for you watching with my kid who, as far as I know, and since 2009 was the last Masters win. My son was born that year, so he had never seen it. And he hears me talking about Tiger all the time, and he had never been able to see that. And not, you know, there's very few athletes where you have your kids that you watched dominate when you were younger that they were actually able to. Yesterday he was having a conversation with me because all he can do is watch YouTube videos of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And he goes, Dad, you know, it's really hard to pick one of the two, but I think they're pretty close to being the same thing. And But he's never been able to watch them. That was one of the first athletes, because of his longevity, that he was able to watch that I watched as a kid. So really hoping for Tiger this weekend. And let me tell you something, just real quick before I get off. My son's school is planning on doing basketball this season.
1 minute.
I don't understand. Jeff, I don't understand how they can figure that out at a small private school here. And even if we're not allowed to go to the games as parents, I'm okay with that.
They get to play.
We've sacrificed a lot during this whole period. So if you can't, I mean, I'd rather him be able to play and not be able to watch him than nothing at all. But if they can figure that out and somehow it's legal with the state, I don't understand how the college can't do it.
I think that's great. And stop being a stranger, man. Your calls are so strong. It's great to hear you, Jess. Be well, because I got a similar story about my daughter. See you. Be well. I got a similar story with my daughter in watching Tiger last week too, JJ, and I can't wait till you do.
Yes, we know ball management is very important at the Masters.
Evidently, and including your attire on your couch. It's the opening drive on ProView Networks, the 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball. That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Over dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass, wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A whole little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake. Everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. David Bond back. LAU. Put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
To create space, he gives it off to Rivas for the 3 and he buries it.
They'll be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores and is fouled.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the 2-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. We're underway at Augusta, boys. Underway at Augusta. Corey Connors, Jazz, Jenna Natawan are your leaders. -1. Just getting started. Tiger hit his first tee shot, JJ. Perfect. John Rahm in a little trouble. Not as much as Bryson was, though. Bryson was in the trees, had a punch out, so he's going to have a tough up and down for a par. Bryson DeChambeau. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, and Micah. J. Paul and Super Jason. Dun, 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 San Diego Superchargers. On the ProView Network side, where you can watch us there. JJ, you got the golf up? You got the plus going? What do you got?
Right now, I'm staring at this weekend's lines and wondering where we got Jets Chargers because the Chargers play the Dolphins this weekend.
Is that right? So don't the Chargers play the Jets next week then?
The Jets
they get them soon.
On bye.
So the Chargers get the
Lose to the Jets, not this weekend.
Yeah, but if they lose to the Jets,
about that pinky toe tattoo.
It's already in stone, man. If the Chargers lose, I'll do it. I'm a man of my word.
Pinky.
And then I'm a Browns
Jets
fan
tattoo.
forever.
We've already picked out the picture too.
Yeah, Mike has been doing his homework. Mike has been on the work. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. 888-922-0610. Xander Schauffele made birdie on his first hole too. All right, let me get you a few emails. They come in at Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. This is Carl. He's in on the Masters. Jeff, Tiger could be behind when live play on Sunday concludes, but don't lose hope. But I expect them to find more birdies on his card Sunday night, and by Monday morning, Tiger would be declared the winner. See what he did there? See what he did? I got it. Rod said, boy, you know what, Jefferson? I'm a parent, and in-person educational instruction is important. I'm looking into out-of-state opportunities today for at least spring, but more than likely all of 2021. I don't think it's wise to sit on your hands and just hope there's a 180-degree shift in thinking coming from Santa Fe in January. It's from Rod. All right. Boy, Bryson just hit a great third shot to try to save par. I don't want to dive back into that, but there's a number of parents that I've heard say, hey, I'm looking at out-of-state opportunities. There's others who are saying, well, if this governor leaves and Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales comes in and it'll be shift, I don't know. I will tell you this. My brother offered up yesterday his spare bedroom in Huntington Beach for Addie to go there and go to Ocean View High School, JJ, and all of a sudden her ears perked up. And then her mama said, no. Flat out no. The cross-country season starts. My nephew said, Addie, our top runner's out. You might even be the top runner on our team. And you could live in Huntington Beach, and her mama said no. And then I said, well, what if we get an apartment and we split 1 week on, 1 week off? You can go, I can go, live in HB for a while. But I mean, people are thinking about it, really thinking about it. Lancer is the OD answer. Bad Street says, wow, that might have been Lancer's most succinct call ever. It might have been. Rod is in on Jerry Palm's phone. Jefferson, that was painful. Sounds like his phone has COVID. Next week I try 2 cans and a really long piece of string. Yeah, might try that too. Because it might be better. Tellis just hit me with on the tee from the USA. Tiger Woods. He's in the fairway. And Carl said keep those Tiger Woods updates coming. All right, John Rahm's got to get out of a rain. He's in a drain, so he got to move out of that, and we'll keep it going. But Bryson looks like he may end up saving par after being in the trees. All right, so what's the line? Dolphins, Chargers. Are the Dolphins have to be the favorites, right?
Dolphins right now 2.5-point favorites.
Is the game in Florida?
Yes.
I mean, you got to now going 2.5 is tough because every Charger game is tight, right? Whenever I see a thick line in a Charger game, whether they're favorites, and I don't think 2.5 is thick, but whenever I see one, I always take the dog because I take the points because every Charger game is tight. But you got to go Dolphins, don't you? Tua, that defense.
Dolphins are the better football team right now. I just sent in my picks for the week. I'm on the Chargers.
I'm on the Chargers too. Oh, I just saw him come across. Can't go though. I'm watching the golf on my phone. All right. I mean, that's just how it is. All right. What do you think of Jerry's thought on BYU? And that they're going to struggle, even if they go undefeated, and whether it's 8-0 or whatever the number is, to get into a New Year's Six game, because he's not wrong.
They just don't have the schedule, and it's not their fault because they tried to schedule up, and then 2020 happened. But it's even when they're beating people as bad as they are, it's going to be hard to put them in over a power conference team that has better wins on the resume just because of the conference they're in.
Yeah, but we're talking 12 teams, right? There's 12 spots. We're not talking CFP. They're not getting in the playoff. But we're talking about New Year's Six, right? So we're talking 12 teams. There's not room for them in 12 if they go undefeated?
So let's just say playoff happens to be Bama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Clemson. So the 6 teams following that, I think they're in a conversation for a New Year's Six.
Well, the 6 teams following that, there's
that they were never going to sniff the playoff, but New Year's Six, I think they're in a conversation.
Well, because there's 3 givens after that, right? You're going to take the Pac-12 champion, you're going to take the Big 12 champion, and you're going to take contractually the top Group of 5 champion. Okay. Now you're having a conversation. Are you better than? Are you getting in over a second SEC team in Georgia, Florida? You're not, right? You're not. So now there's 2. That's what are we at? 8. There's 4 spots left. You're getting in over a second Pac-12 or Big 10 team? Probably not. And then it might come down to, if let's say Cincinnati gets the Group of 5 spot, now you're going to be having a conversation. Are they more deserving than Marshall, than Liberty? And I could see a scenario, JJ, where Liberty would get in over them simply by virtue of the win over Virginia Tech.
That is probably going to be the strongest win. Cincinnati,
Marshall.
Team doesn't, like SMU just hangs on the rest of the ways. That kind of solidifies their AAC resume.
Yeah. So it's going to be a long haul for them. I think, let me give you another scenario, and I guess you got to play this into the conversation, but I just don't think it works. Nevada runs the table. John Rahm's going to make bogey on his second hole, by the way. Nevada, no?
I think it's close, but I think Nevada is in a situation where they need more help than, say, a Cincinnati or even a Marshall at this point in time, because what's left on Nevada's schedule, I think they're a good football team. But the rest of the Mountain West is going to let them down. I think it's exactly what BYU is looking at. Usually what they did to Boise State would be newsworthy, noteworthy. Everyone would be like, wow, look what BYU just did in Boise. However, you look at that game and you realize the majority of it was played with third-string quarterback for Boise State. And BYU is still good. I think they're ridiculously good offensively. But what are they going to hang their hat on? And then San Diego State got beat by a better team on the night in San Jose State. That doesn't help BYU.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think all of that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them in. I'll get you the Masters leaderboard, of course, as we keep going through this and trying to get you an update on it. Tiger, what he's doing. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 and ProView Networks, the sports animal.
We heard you. The 610 KNM.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith. looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovic!
That replay, I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Step it up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up, man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Chavez dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez starts.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races.